Welcome to the Insurance Agents and Brokers Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the audio version of a feature article from the May 2026 issue of IA&B's Primary Agent magazine. It is entitled, "We've Got You, HR, Covered. Human Resources Tools for IA&B Members," by Karen D. Joya, Sherry Beckert Advisory LLC, HR Consulting. How many times a day do you say the word coverage? I won't try to guess the exact number, but I'm betting it's a lot. Insurance is all about coverage, making sure your clients have the right protection in place. With that in mind, I'd like to share how IA&B, along with the human resources support available through the HR consulting arm of Sherry Beckert, has you covered from an HR perspective. You're already an expert at helping your clients get the insurance coverage they need. But when HR questions come up, you may not feel quite as certain, and that's completely normal. The good news is that your IA&B membership gives you access to a strong library of HR and people management resources. In the sections that follow, we'll walk through key points in the employee lifecycle and highlight what's available, either directly through iabforme.com/HR-resources or by contacting IA&B by email at advocacy@iabforme.com or phone at 800-998-9644 option 4. Read on to see how your IA&B membership can help you. Fill roles faster with hiring templates and tools. Reduce HR risk with policy, classification, and documentation resources. And get unstuck quickly with guidance and support when issues escalate, performance challenges, leaves of absence, resignations, terminations. Hiring and selection. Your agency is growing, and it's time to add staff. You've started sourcing candidates, but aren't sure what else you should be doing to prepare. No worries. Everything you need can be found in the guidance below or through IA&B. Employment application. To make sure you have all the details you need about each candidate's qualifications, education, and experience, be certain to have them complete an employment application. Isn't a resume good enough? You might ask. The answer is no. And there are a few reasons an application is still the best route. First, it ensures you're gathering the same information from every candidate, which helps you make a more informed and fair decision. Second, an employment application is signed by the applicant, while a resume typically isn't. That signature certifies that the information they've provided is true and complete. And if a candidate ever misrepresents their background, it's not common, but it can happen. You have a signed document to support your decision not to hire or to let the individual go. This protects the agency. Bottom line, employment applications help to ensure you're legally covered. And if your response to the last section is candidates, what candidates? IA&B also offers resources for job postings and applicant review. Interview questions. Wondering what you should ask in the interview or which questions are allowed? While you want to be friendly and personable, it's important to avoid questions of a personal nature. Do you have any kids? Or are you married? Might sound harmless, but they can create grounds for a discrimination claim. It's critical to stick to job-related topics, previous experience, skills, preferred ways to work, and techniques for handling pressure are all valid topics. And while it's fine to chat about the college your candidate attended, make sure you don't ask what year they graduated. Bottom line, there's a lot to think about when you're structuring your interview questions. To help guide your interviews, IA&B offers resources such as guidelines for conducting interviews, a telephone pre-interview worksheet, and a candidate evaluation worksheet. New hire/offer letter. Once you've chosen your candidate, an offer letter is the best way to clearly communicate the basics: title, start date, pay, exempt/non-exempt status, and any contingencies, background check, drug screen, licensing, etc. It's also a great place to note that employment is at will. Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Delaware are at-will employment states, and that the offer is not a contract. A clear offer letter helps avoid misunderstandings from the start. Where can you find a sample offer letter? You guessed it, there's one available through IA&B. Also available are sample agreements, including non-piracy and producer agreements, that may be critical for some of your hires. Employee management. When it comes to managing your employees, there are a number of tools you should have in place. If you haven't dusted yours off in a while, Check out the IA&B site for resources to help you clarify and communicate policies and practices, manage performance, and stay up to date on regulatory changes. Employee Handbook. What are your company's standards for attendance, attire, remote work, and smoking? What's the vacation policy? Have you clearly communicated what's acceptable when it comes to social media use or relationships in the workplace? What about the use of AI at work? These are just a handful of the topics your handbook should cover. Your handbook is also the right place for required language around equal employment opportunity, harassment, I-9s, and anti-discrimination. If you don't have a handbook in place, or if yours hasn't been reviewed and updated in a while, check out the handbook template on the IA&B site for suggested policies and language. Job descriptions. How do you make sure you and your employees are on the same page regarding responsibilities and expectations? Clear job descriptions help you set expectations from day one and should be revisited regularly during onboarding, annual reviews, and any progressive discipline discussions. Job descriptions make it easier to have specific, productive conversations. For example, let's chat about customer response time. The job description lists a 24-hour expectation, and lately you've been missing that mark. Help me understand what's driving the change and what support you need to get back on track. Clear job descriptions support strong employee performance. However, if an employee doesn't meet those expectations and is terminated, a signed job description helps protect you from an ex-employee who claims, "I didn't know I was responsible for that." FLSA classification. Is my employee exempt or non-exempt? Salaried or hourly? Is salaried non-exempt a real thing? How do I classify employees in a way that's compliant with the law? And how do the duties tests apply? Proper classification under the Fair Labor Standards Act, FLSA, can feel overwhelming, but it's critical to get it right. IA&B provides resources on the member site, including a detailed guide to the FLSA and a sample timesheet to help ensure hourly employees are recording time appropriately. Performance management. While performance management is a topic unto itself and should never be all about the forms, documentation still matters. Performance management is really about communication. It's about ongoing conversations regarding what's going well and what could use improvement. When it comes to coverage, it's important to put key items in writing. Forms to support performance management can be found on the IA&B member site, including performance review templates, employee self-appraisal forms, and progressive discipline forms. Just remember, the forms are tools that support a strong performance management process. Effective performance management isn't a once-a-year formal review. It happens every day through quick check-ins, one-on-one conversations, and clear feedback. For more guidance, check out the member webinar on this topic at iabforme.com/HR-resources. Regulatory updates. Each week, IA&B's newsletter brings you the latest changes that may impact you and your agency. Some of these updates are HR-related and critical to keeping your agency in compliance with federal, state, and local regulations, from minimum wage and FMLA to sick leave requirements and independent contractor definitions. If you aren't already, be on the lookout each week for these updates. Leaves of absence and termination. What happens when an employee needs to take a leave of absence? Are they eligible for FMLA, mandated sick leave, or paid time off? And what should you do when an employee submits their resignation, or when you need to let an employee go? If you've been paying attention, by now you know the answer. Resources are available through IA&B. As the old tagline used to go, membership has its privileges, and the privileges of IA&B membership include a wealth of HR tools, many of them highlighted here and available right on the website. And if the resources you find don't go far enough, don't forget, as part of your IA&B member benefits, you have access to professional expertise and guidance on HR-related topics. Just email me at karen.dejoya@cbh.com or victoriazeffran@victoria.zeffran@cbh.com. We'll be happy to point you in the right direction and make sure all your questions are, you got it, covered. Karen D. Joya provided this article on behalf of Cherry Beckard Advisory LLC, HR Consulting, IA&B's contracted human resources consulting firm. Thank you for listening.
Insurance Agents and Brokers is the premier resource and champion for independent insurance agencies in Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Delaware. For more information, visit iab4me.com.